The Raptors' struggles with Dwayne Casey and the Detroit Pistons continues today as they drop back-to-back ball games and they lose this one 103-87. And with the win for the Pistons, they're now 5-3 in the month of January. And historically with Dwayne Casey, they are 8-3 against the Toronto Raptors. With the loss, the Raps, as I mentioned, now lost back-to-back contests. They're now 20-19. And as I mentioned, guys, after that, Phoenix game, you cannot have some prolonged losing streaks, right? You won 6 in a row. You were buzzing. You were feeling great. Now you've lost 2 in a row. And you play Milwaukee in a back-to-back tomorrow night. And probably Giannis is going to play. So it doesn't look pretty good. You needed this win tonight. You needed to get back into the win column. Get back to a couple games over 500, feeling good again. You had Scotty Barnes back. Still no Gary Trent Jr. You lost Kem Birch early in the game. Did not return. And it paid dividends. They really struggled. The Raptors offensively were abysmal in this game today. Flat out abysmal. It felt like they got dominated on the glass as well, but they really didn't. It was just that Trey Lyles, I felt like, was getting every single offensive board, then an and one to go along with it. He had a great game. The Canadian boy did a job against the only Canadian club. Now let's get to the game though. Let's break this thing down. First quarter, both teams kind of feeling each other out. 31-27 Detroit after one quarter of play. You're only down by 4. Then the second quarter, the floodgates open. The Raptors can't shoot to save their life. This is when Trey Lyles feels like to take over. 25-16 Detroit. The Raptors have scored a total of 43 points in the first half. Detroit pushing 60. Actually, no, they at 61. I'm terrible at math. You guys know that. So I think it's 61. 56. Who the heck, Either way, they're down by, I believe it was actually 13, so it might be 56. See what I mean? I can't do math. Anyways, you're down by double digits heading into the break. You need to come out in the third quarter with a vengeance. You got to come out in the third quarter with a punch. They don't do that. Pistons win that quarter 27-23. And in the fourth quarter, the Raptors make a little run. They get it down to 8. But every time the Raptors had a little run in them, the Pistons punch back. And Raptors end up winning that fourth quarter 21-20, but you're down by quite a bit anyways. And you lose by 16, 103-87. The story of this basketball game is the inability to make shots other than Pascal Siakam. And I know people are going to go crazy. Well, Fred VanVleet. And yes, him and OG, they made their threes. But they struggled mightily tonight. Like Pascal Siakam had 23 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, 8 of 16 from the field, with 6 of 9 from the free throw line, 1 of 2 from distance. So he did a job. He had the double-double, and he was an integral part of this team kind of hanging around and trying to fight back in this game, but no one else fought with him. Look, Fred VanVleet, 24 points, 5 rebounds, 10 assists, looks great. 6 of 21 from the field. He just did not have a shot tonight. 6 of 8 from the free throw line, 6 of 14 from three-point range, and had a couple steals. Fred, the volume of Fred shooting the 14 threes. I mean, god dang, if you're going to, I sure hope you're making 6 of them, and he did. Him and Pascal combined for, 5 misses from the free throw line? You can't be doing that. I understand you lost by double digits, so 5 doesn't mean a whole lot, but we talked about that game. We talked about it in that Suns game, where free throws were a huge reason of why they lost that game. But if you're the Raptors, you look at tonight's game, and you're like, well, it's just the inability to make shots. Fred VanVleet, obviously your top scorer, 6 of 21. OG Anunoby, is your third top scorer. He had 16 points, 3 boards, couple dimes. But even he shot 5 of 14 from the field, was 3 of 4 from the line, 3 of 7 from distance. So him and Fred knocked down their threes. They had 9 threes combined. But the inability to shoot from the field, they really struggled. They really struggled inside the three-point line, did Fred and OG. But it gets worse. Scotty Barnes had 8 points, 7 boards, couple assists on 4 of 13 shooting, was 0 of 4 from 3. He just looked all out of sorts. Now, he did, obviously, his first game back from his little injury that he missed a couple games for. Or was this the one game? Either way, he did not play in the last one, and he looked out of sorts. He did not look right, did Scotty Barnes in this one. 4-13, 0-4 from 3. Chris Boucher, I still like him doing what he's doing off the bench. 10.6 boards, 3 of 7 from the field, 3 of 3 from the line, 1 of 4 from distance. Not the greatest shooting night, but again, the 10 and 6, I'll take that off the bench any day. But other than Pascal, Fred, and OG, and I'm going to include Scotty and Boucher into this. Other than those 3 guys of Pascal, Fred, and OG, the rest of the Toronto Raptors who played today combined with 24 points. You guys can do the math. Okay, if you want to put Scotty and Boucher in there. Well, that's 18 of the 24. The rest of the lineup, other than those 5 guys I talked about, they scored a total of 6. You're never going to win games that way. Now, I understand you're playing Detroit and you probably should have won no matter what. But you need to have somebody else try and help you, because they're just going to focus 100% of their defense on Pascal, Fred, and OG and make someone else beat them. And that's probably what they did tonight. And those guys did their work. 23 for Pascal, 24 for Fred, and even 16 for OG. But no one else did anything. And that's the problem right now with the Toronto Raptors. Their bench, and obviously not having Gary Trent Jr. around is really, really hurting that. And obviously losing Kem Birch early in this one does not help you whatsoever, because he does so many small things to help your team roll. And obviously he left the game early. But that's no excuse. You know, the team overall, I mean, get these team numbers. 32% from the field for the Raptors. 32! And on 29% from three-point range, that is downright abysmal. 77% from the free throw line, which isn't terrible. You can't shoot 32% of the field and 29% from three-point range and expect to win. It's not going to happen. Detroit even shot 47% from the field and 30% from three, so very similar there. But 47% from the field for the Pistons. They made shots. They also went 83% from the free throw line. And also some wild stats in the game. The Raptors were actually +7 on the offensive glass. But then, and this is where Trey Lyles and guys like that just absolutely destroyed you, was points in the paint. -18 for the Toronto Raptors. -18. They got dominated inside the paint. And the crazy thing that we haven't been used to, the Raptors were actually minus in the turnovers. We had 11 turnovers. The Pistons only had 8. A team that bad, going into the game with only 9 wins on the year. Now, obviously, they've been playing better in the new year, but they have 9 wins. You don't expect them to turn the ball over 8 times, especially a team like the Toronto Raptors who get in the passing lanes well and cause a lot of turnovers usually. The Raptors just did not play their game tonight. Now, obviously, the Pistons, you got to credit them. They played hard from minute 1 to minute 48. They did not let the Raptors breathe. Every time the Raptors made a run, they punched back. You know, and points off of those turnovers, we were -7. They made you pay for your mistakes. And another crazy stat from today's game, the Raptors never led in the game. Not once, not even by 1 point, not once. And they led by as big as 21. And now the Raptors have lost back-to-back games, and the next game is tomorrow in Milwaukee against the Bucks, who just full-on, manslaughter the Chicago Bulls, I believe it was, or was it the Pistons? I can't remember who it was. Their last game, they absolutely destroyed whoever the heck they played. So they're playing well, are the Bucks. Now, the Raptors seem to be doing pretty well against Milwaukee, but with Giannis there on the road, and who knows if Gary Trent Jr. is going to be playing, who knows if Kem Birch is going to play. It's 6:30 tip-off tomorrow in Milwaukee. It's not looking good. And if you, God forbid you lose that game tomorrow, you won 6 in a row, that's great, but now you've lost 3 straight. And it defeats the entire winning streak. Now, is that the definition of a young team? You're damn right it is. The ebbs and flows, the highs and the lows of a young team, and that's just what you got to go through. And it's really, really tough to watch sometimes, all right? So you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed the video and did not enjoy the game today whatsoever, smack the like button. I do appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button if you guys not already. Comment down below. Thoughts on the video, thoughts on the game. Would you like, would you not like from today's game today for the Toronto Raptors? Twitter link is down below, so follow up, send me a DM, all that great stuff. The Instagram link is down below as well, so follow up there if you have not done so already. And I will talk to you guys Leafs edition tomorrow night as they are in St. Louis taking on the Blues. They have some guys hitting the COVID list, or the COVID doohickey, whatever you want to call it. I think Justin Hall was on the list. I know Kasha was on the list. I believe there was one more as well. So it's not looking good for the Leafs right now. They have, I think, Marner and Engvall, I don't know if they're back yet. So they might be very short-handed tomorrow against St. Louis in St. Louis, especially after that tough loss against Arizona. It's not looking good there. And for the Raptors, they take on Milwaukee tomorrow in Milwaukee. 6:30 tip-off there. What the heck are we going to see? I don't know. That's why we tune in and watch. All right? So thank you guys so much for listening and watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. We'll talk to you guys then.